very pleasant good afternoon. We welcome you into the Spotlight presented by Alathus Live. If you are in the market for buying or selling your home, give us a call, 479-968-5668, or you can cruise on over to russellvilleliving.com. We have quite the treat for you today here on the Spotlight. He is a fisher of fish and a fisher of men. We bring you in Mr. Evan Barnes. Evan, an old buddy of mine. How are you, my friend?
Man, I am doing great. Glad to be here. Glad to be on the show with you guys. And man, let's get started.
So let's talk a little bit. Let's start with fishing. You are now a 5-year pro in Major League Fishing. You're a country boy out of Yale County, man. How does a guy who was fishing the ponds out in Pulling Pond like I was, getting out on the pros and making the big money?
Man, it's a pretty cool story. I've been fishing since I was super young, and my dad and my grandpa, fishing, like you said, little small creeks and things like that, ponds and stuff, and pretty much every day, when I was growing up and after school and stuff like that. Well, about 13 or 14 years old, I actually had a good friend that some of them listening will probably know, Jerry Don Watson. He actually invited me to fish a tournament with him, and we started fishing those little Tuesday night tournaments on Dardanelle, and man, we started winning a few of them. And as a 13 or 14-year-old kid, when you start winning some tournaments, it kind of gets in your blood, and
right.
That's exactly what happened. And it kind of fueled that fire. I kind of got the idea that professional fishing was all about winning and catching all these checks and these trophies and things like that, and got out into the real world and realized it wasn't always that easy. For sure.
Well, let's talk about that first year. Talk about the process of getting. I don't know. This sounds a little bit naive, but I don't even know how you become a professional fisherman. It's just one of those things that I know somebody who wasn't. Now they are. How does that happen?
Well, so it's a little bit of a different process for a lot of different guys. For me personally, I just tried myself. We started fishing what was then the FLW, which is the BFLs, and which is now FLW is now Major League Fishing. But anyways, started fishing what I would consider some semi-pro stuff, AAA, so to speak. But it was something that was a little bit of a grind for the majority of my life. And there was one year in 2000, I think it was 2016. I ended up having a really solid year. I had a top 5 here on Dardanelle, and really basically I ended up qualifying for what I fish now, which was what was then was the FLW Tour and is now the Major League Fishing Pro Circuit. And so I was one of the few guys that actually had to qualify according to the rules there. And once I did, kind of made that step the next year, and kind of the rest is history as far as actually being a quote professional fisherman from that point forward. So
now here's something I've always wanted to know. I used to watch when I was a kid, me and my granddad, if we weren't out on the lake, we were watching Bill Dance be out on the lake. We always just use chicken liver crickets and stink bait, but I know that you've probably got some better. You've got some better stuff. What are you using out there now? Don't give away your secrets, but for a guy like me, how can I get a little bit better and maybe move away from the old chicken liver?
Well, man, fishing has just completely changed. I mean, from where I began and stuff that's really simple, your jigs and your spinner baits and all of those things definitely catch fish, but it seems like the guys have taken what was good and made it even better. And I think you just see that throughout the world pretty much in any industry. There's no different in fishing. I use Daiwa reels and Phoenix rods. That's what I've been using for a lot of years now. Super confident with that stuff, man. As far as baits, there's so many really good bait companies out there. I actually just won. I'll give another shout out. Didn't win, but had a really good tournament last week on Lake Murray, throwing a buzz bait, which is a lot of guys know what that is. But the specific one that I was throwing was a Brazalo Custom Lures. That's Brazalo. I believe I got that right.
Y'all catch that?
Yeah. Pretty sure that's the spelling of it. Buzz bait that I was throwing out there on Lake Murray. And thrown it a little bit here this week on Dardanelle, and hopefully I can catch a few fish on that this week as well, and hopefully the fish will cooperate anyways.
But be honest, when you're not on tour, do you still use an old cricket?
Man, I love brim fishing. I love brim fishing, so I go through several tubes of crickets when it comes the right time. First, the end of May to the first part of June is the best time to do that. So I'm all about it for sure.
We've talked a lot about the professional fishing side of this, and I want to get into that a little bit more. But you and I share another passion, and that is our faith. We're both active Christians, and you are a pastor out in the Perryville area too. That balance to me, being a pro angler and then being a pastor. Pastors, I'll tell you this, folks. The old school way of thinking was that pastoring was a great job because you only worked one day a week, and that's not true, is it?
Negative. No, that is definitely the furthest from the truth, especially if your heart's in it. That's the main thing. If your heart is really in it, you're working every single day. You've got your congregation in mind, and even witnessing to other people throughout your day. And so it is. Even though I don't guess maybe we should necessarily look at it as a job in some aspect, because it's a lot more like a calling. But man, I love the fishing thing, and I got to say, most people, I guess, at this point probably know me more for being a professional fisherman. But the most important thing, and I tell some of the younger kids, the coolest thing about Evan Barnes is my faith, and my relationship with Christ. And man, I would be nowhere without him. I mean, there is no doubt. I mean, there is literally no telling where I would be had he not saved me and surrendered my life. And like you said, Drew, we were good buddies, back in high school.
Oh, yeah.
And things have significantly changed since those days. And man, I'm just
less hair back then.
Yes, I'm just thankful that the Lord kind of got a hold of me and radically changed my life to the point now where that is my number one priority is my faith and sharing what God's done in my life, and getting to see Him do some really powerful things on the water, but also off the water, which obviously is very very important and the most important thing for sure.
Talking to Evan Barnes, he's an MLF pro angler, and then also pastor over. Tell me the church.
It is New Life Fellowship, and it's we consider it Perryville because that's the biggest town in that area, but it's actually out in Cherry Hill. Of course, anybody from River Valley or Perry County, anywhere over there, you guys are more than welcome. We have services at 10:45. We've got kids services at 9:45, and it's a little deceiving, I guess. You would think a little country church would be kind of small, but man, we're running about 100 right now, and it seems like new people are coming every single Sunday. And no credit to me or really anybody else, but just man, the Lord is really moving, and He's gathering up some of the right people that are really just wanting to chase Jesus, and you cannot go wrong, and you're always going to thrive if you keep that mindset for sure.
Two funny stories I want to share with you, and I want to see if you've got something similar. You were talking about those little country churches. My first youth pastorate was a little church house in Onyx. If you're going down towards Mount Ida, you're going to pass it. You got to literally cross the creek to get across this thing.
Yeah.
We ended up with 65 kids in youth one night. And this little schoolhouse was not big enough to do it, so we decided we're going to get the 3 church vans, 4 trucks, and 2 dog and pony shows and take them all bowling. Yes. My Lord, you take a bunch of Yale County kids bowling, especially going the dark bowling.
Yes.
They had never seen that kind of technology before. It was funny to watch. The second one, and this is where I want to see if you've got a story like this. I was baptizing a kid one time, and I told him, I said, listen, we were using a baptistry, and I said, listen, just lean back. It's going to be fine. Don't put too much pressure on your feet or you're going to slip. And the moment that I dunked, he just throws his feet out, and I just slammed his head right in the side of the tub.
Man.
You got any stories like that?
Man, I guess I got to be thankful. I don't have anything like that yet, but like I said, the Lord has really been moving in our church. So I think we've got like 20 or 30 different people that are wanting to be baptized at this point, and so we're fixing to do one of those old-fashioned go to the creek, everybody get in who wants in, and man, I'm really excited. So hopefully we can avoid any crazy stories like that and snakes or whatever it is. But man, I'm just pumped to even have the honor to be involved in the Lord moving in something like that for sure.
What does the summer look like on the fishing side, Evan?
Well, man, this year is actually the first year that I felt like that I was supposed to kind of commit to fishing full time. And honestly, the pastoring thing wasn't even on my radar at all. I just felt like that the Lord was leading me to fish full time, which meant to leave my regular job. And, for me, I had a really good year last year, but it was kind of like one of those places where financially speaking, you're on a little bit of unstable ground. And so it was a pretty big leap of faith for me to take that step and to commit to fishing full time as my main source of income. And that, like I said, a big leap of faith. And then you add the pastoralship on top of that. That had just added to this story, I guess you could say. But as far as fishing wise goes, man, I have been extremely busy this week, or this year is what I meant to say. I'm on a string right now. This is my third week in a row that I've been fishing, and honestly, I've got another one next week, so that would be 4 weeks in a row. 4 weeks in a row, and one of the cool things, or I guess it's a little bit of a down thing, but also a cool thing. I was going to end up being 5 weeks in a row, but I got a phone call. The next tournament that I had scheduled to plan to fish, actually not going to get to fish that because I had qualified for a bigger tournament that, because of the off limits periods and things like that, I can't be on that body of water, which is in Tennessee, and so I'm actually going to get a break for about a week, and I'm super thankful for that. Spending a lot of time away from home, and but the main thing is, fishing's been good, and fishing for men has also been really good as well. So I just regardless of being tired and worn out, I just ask the Lord to keep me going, and he always answers that prayer for sure.
We're talking to Evan Barnes, and Evan, one of the things that we like to do on this show is just talk about the good things happening in the community, because we do sell real estate around here, and we want folks to move in.
You bet.
Hey, you're an Yale County boy like I am. Talk about this area. I mean, while there's always plenty of fishing, I mean, we know that, but talk about the things that are really positive in this area.
Man, growing up here, I am so thankful because I do get to travel a lot, and I get to see tons of different cities, and there's just a dynamic of the River Valley, the Dardanelle, Russellville area that I feel like is totally different. Of course, when we have our issues like anybody else, but this is always going to be home to me. There would be nothing against settling down here again and raising a family here. Man, it's just the atmosphere is just like you said, just a smaller down home country feel with everything that you need to utilize as far as a big city, I feel like, and so I would highly recommend it for really anybody that's looking. There's tons of opportunities, tons of things to do, family friendly things, both indoors and outdoors as well. I can't think of a better place. Like I said, it will always be home to me for sure.
Quick question. You're a pro angler now, but is there somebody out in the family or out in Yale County who, no matter what, if you take them to the lake, they're going to outfish you?
In Yale County, I wouldn't necessarily say in the family, but there's probably several guys in Yale County that'll still outfish me. And that's one of the things that a lot of people don't understand about professional fishing, at least at a local, if you consider the local level. A lot of these guys, they fish Lake Dardanelle their entire life. And even though I have a ton of experience on Dardanelle, I haven't. I've only have a 12 to 14 years of experience. And so, yeah, man, there's a lot of guys that are here local that are as far as here locally can catch them better than I do, and I look up to those guys still and wish that I had the knowledge of this place like they do. So it's not just just because I'm a professional fisherman does not mean that I'm the best of the best out here and I'm always the favorite. There's a lot of really good guys that I would hope to beat this week for sure.
We're still talking to Evan Barnes. Evan, give us the address. Is there a Facebook page that we can reach your church on? Is there things you need to plug? Let the public know about you.
Yeah, so it's 978 Cherry Hill Loop. That's in basically Perryville, Arkansas, right outside of Perryville. It's New Life Fellowship, non-denominational church. literally everybody's welcome. You know, we get that question, what denomination are you? You know, what do you preach and things like that. So man, we just chase Jesus. At the end of the day, that's what we do. We don't get wrapped up in all those things. And in my opinion as a pastor is it does more division than it does help as far as that goes. So we welcome everybody, and it's really a thriving church. I know for the majority of the River Valley it might be a little bit of a drive, but I really do believe if you're looking for a church that you will be blessed by coming and visiting, and hopefully you stay, but if not, I hope you do enjoy a visit at least, for sure.
We've been talking with Evan Barnes, pro angler and pastor over out in Perry County now, but a Yale County native. We used to get in a little trouble back in high school together, and I guess the hair left me before it did you, brother, but your time's coming. I just want you to know. Hey, thanks for being on the show with me, brother.
Yeah, man, I appreciate it. It's an awesome opportunity. I look forward to hopefully one of these days being back on for sure.
Outstanding. Well, if you are interested in buying or selling your home, you can give us a call, 479-968-5668, or you can cruise on over to russellvilleliving.com. If I push the right buttons, that'll be good too. Hey, we've got lots of great guests coming up on the Spotlight this week. Make sure to check them out every day at 3 o'clock. If you miss any part of this interview, you can always scroll back. It'll be on YouTube a little bit later on today. For now, my name is Drew Brent. Thanks so much for joining us on the Spotlight. We'll see you right back here tomorrow.